and welcome back to the Daily Creative Challenge in Illustrator. I'm your host, Clary. I've been with you throughout this week of challenges, and I'm very thankful to be here. And today is our last day, so definitely gonna see you some other time, hopefully soon. But for now, there is gonna be a small break, and our week finishes here. So for some reason, I don't see the chat, but I want to say hello to all of you, my friends. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure that I refresh the page where the chat is at, so I can see hi to everyone who's here. Fantastic, I can see you now. Great. So I can see Carrie, Pia, Wade, Miguel, Stephen, Mohammed. Thank you so much, Valeria. I guess I don't know if you're Italian or not, but that's how I pronounce it. Monica and Cecile and Jack. And of course, yes, happy Friday, everyone. Let me know what you're doing. Monica is going to go and get an ice cream. Can I have one here, please? I'm sweating in Manchester. It's still very hot. So let me know what are your plans for this Friday and maybe for the weekend. I can see Anthony and I can see you all saying hello. Hi Paloma, hi Angie, hi Nick, Andre, thank you so much. Luna, Christelle, Sim, Valeria. She's from Argentina but lives in the US. Okay, fantastic. So I think she'll pronounce it the same. Otherwise, I'm sorry if I pronounce the name wrong. Carlos, you're new here. Don't worry. I'm going to show you straight away how to dive into our fantastic challenge. And today, as I said, is our day number 5, our last day for this challenge. But don't worry, Carlos, you can start from today. You got the entire weekend. There are only 5 challenges and you can pick up. Remember, this is a safe space for you to sharpen your skills and learn new techniques in Illustrator. But let's jump into our fantastic landing page. Oop, here it is. So as I said, this is the place to start. Make sure to head on behance.net/challenge/illustrator in order to get here in this fantastic landing page where you can first and foremost join the challenge. And don't worry, you can still have time to click the blue button even today. And you can also see that we have unveiled all our cards. And today, as I said during this week, is a day not to miss, because I'm going to show you how you can create a professional looking curated profile project for your Behance profile. And that's very important because, as you know, once we finish our project, there are 2 different things that we're going to do. We're going to post it into our amazing Discord channel. You don't know how to join? Well, let me get the link right there for you. So here it is. We got our fantabulous Discord link. So it's bit.ly AI, oops, that's the I, not the L, Discord. Fantastic. Once you click on the link, or you always have the option to access from our landing page. As I said, it's super useful. You can click here on community chat. Or also there is another fantastic link which is at the very bottom where it says chat with the community. You can also download Illustrator with this pretty new fancy icon by clicking on download Illustrator in order to have a free trial. I believe is 1 week. So let me show you though what I was talking about when I was talking about Discord. If you don't know it yet, Discord is the fantastic place. Oops, where am I going here? Discord is the fantastic place where all of us share our work. In order to share your work, you're gonna head on the feedback channel here under where it says challenge. In order to share your work, all you're gonna do is click on this little plus here and then select an artwork from a folder of your choice, and you'll be able to upload it into the chat. Now, the reason why it's so important to participate, even if you perhaps haven't finished your work, is because this is a fantastic place to connect with an international community of designers, students, creatives. You got our fantastic mentors. We got Andrew, Colby, Kathleen, and Rocky. We have so many fantastic people. You have all of them here. Sorry, we're using 2 different mices, so I need to get the right one. Here it is. So we have all these fantastic people. They're there to help and to give you feedback on your work. And remember, this is a safe space. So if you're unsure about something, still post. If you haven't done and if you haven't finished your work, you're not sure how to finish it off, that's a great place to get some more inspiration. So make sure to share your work when you're done. Will be and feel free to give me a shout if you also want me to have some specific comment. And the other place where you have to share is your Behance profile. So I'm just gonna head to my profile over here. And as you can see, we already started creating a new project, but today I'm gonna create a sample project from scratch. Also, if you go back into our landing page, you'll be able to download the starter file. Feel free to do so while I keep chatting about here the project. Hi Anna, nice to see you. Valentina, Erin, Keith, you don't know. Keith says, I know how to use Discord, but I still don't know what it is. Discord is basically like a chat with thousands of cool creatives. That's how I can define it. I call it always the safe space. It's a safe space for sharing your work, getting tips, talking about design, sharing your portfolio. It's a great space to hang out, Keith. So make sure that you at least try to spend a couple of days there whenever you have time, and you'll see the benefit of it. So as I say, click on get started in order to open the folders with our work. You have an Illustrator file. This is the link, just in case it wasn't linked into the file, the image that you'll find in. And then, oops, we have a lot of different projects. Now I've used a lot of restaurant projects because that's usually what my Behance are about. I work with a lot of hospitality in the hospitality industry. So I thought to share with you how I go about with my project. Those are all Adobe stock sample. Feel free to use your own project. If you got a project that you want to get ready for Behance, just ignore these files and just use yours. Those are just for those of you who don't have anything ready. You can jump and use the one that I provided. Fantastic. Very last thing, and the reason why you want this profile looking pretty is because we have a new fantastic curated gallery on Behance called behance.net/galleries/challenges. That's where you can find it. You can find a lot of inspiration there, as usually on Behance, but most importantly, you can be featured. So make sure to get your profile looking nice, your project looking pretty, because I'm watching you, and the Adobe gods and the Behance gods are watching you. So you'll be featured in the chat. So Stefan say your Illustrator project is acting weird. I downloaded it. It looks like a tall white artboard. Yes, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. This is a tall white artboard. Let's open it. So I'm gonna jump into the project and see what is wrong. Nothing is wrong. That's exactly how I go about with my file. So what I have here is a project, and if you actually head back into my profile, you can see it. The project is called Plant Therapy. Here it is, and I've actually built it during one Adobe Live. And when you scroll, you have all these fantastic elements, and you look so pretty and done layout. And here we go, me and Jesus during the stream. So everything is done quite nicely. How do you achieve this project? Well, that's exactly the right place to start. So Stephen, this is not an error. This is exactly what I wanted to start. Now, the first thing that we want to mention is that it doesn't matter how long it is. What is matter is that width is 1400 pixel. This will enable you to have the widest image shown on let's say full screen on your project. So width to width when you open a project, full width when you open a project in on Behance. But let's get started. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is to go to my libraries and click here on the down pointing arrow and click on click here on the down pointing arrow and click on create new library. I'm gonna zoom in because I was getting confused. So it's not this big plus, it's the little one here. And we're gonna create a new library. We're gonna call it Behance 1. This is gonna be our first project, and click on create. Then I'm gonna go back into the folder wherever you have downloaded all the file. I think I'm putting in my downloads. Yeah, sample project assets, and all you have to do is to select them all, hold shift to select more document, and simply drag it into your library. That's the beauty of the CC library. All you have to do is to click and drag. Now select a color of your choice, either blue. All I've done is selected images for color, and I'll show you why in a second. I'm just gonna go with oranges. I think there are a little bit more images. Click and drag again and drop it into your libraries. I know that there is a folder that says vector is empty. Don't worry about it. I was just trying to isolate these two AI files. You have them already there in the main folder, so don't worry. All you need to know is that you can access your folder, whatever you got, perhaps your own project, and you can drag it straight away into your libraries in Illustrator. So now you can focus on creating and you don't have to jump off Illustrator anymore, because we got all our assets here. Let me show you. So it's already loaded, they're ready to go. All I have to do is then click and drag, and they will be dropped into our artboard. So I'm gonna click here and select this first image. Now these images are a little bit smaller and a little bit low resolution, and the reason is because I've not licensed them. They're just for an example. If you want to use those images, you have to license them, but if you use yours, you wouldn't have any problem with the size. Remember, if you're creating bespoke sizes, they need to be at least 1,400 pixel in width. So I'm going to hold shift while I transform in order to maintain proportion, and we are going to move this project a little bit down. This is going to be our first photo. So as you can see, instead of creating one photo at the time, I'm creating one single page that then I will upload, so I can start to make so many interaction with my image and my text. I know, I'm sorry, I'm Italian, I move my hands a lot. I kind of overdid it here. But fair enough, here we're starting, and here it is. This is our first image, and we're gonna start to bring some elements like vector, text, and shape to make it more interesting. In order to also create something that looks nice, if you do not have, for example, a branding, if you're just doing a specific project but it's not like a branding project where you got already a palette, let's go ahead and create a palette that it will be just for this project, and also will make it look much more consistent and perhaps get featured on our galleries. So first thing I'm gonna do is that, as you remember, I kind of dragged the let me see if they actually went there. Maybe not. Let me go back into my folder. I meant to drag here all these images as well, which were the orange. Here it is. Now they're loading, and therefore I'm gonna just click and drag in one of those images just to get an idea of the color. And I would suggest for you to do the same. Whatever project you're doing, just drop an image so you can start to get more color. How do I create a palette based on this photo? Well, very simple. So we say that overall this picture is very warm. There are a lot of oranges, a lot of red. You might say, yeah, the guy t-shirt is blue, but it's, you know, just one cold element. Overall is very warm. So I'm gonna go ahead and double click into my fill color, and then I'm gonna go here and search a color either which is like a nice warm orange, or there is another way I can do that. Simply clicking here into my eyedropper tool, I can select, go over my image, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see a little bit better, and pick one of these neutral orange, so nothing that is, you know, too dark or too light. And here it is. It will automatically load here into my swatch fill. Now what I'm gonna do is to head into my window and go to Color Guide. Color Guide is a fantastic place in which you can explore color harmony in Illustrator. As you can see, our beloved Illustrator shows us fantastic color harmony, and I'm going to zoom in here, which are analogous, so they're colors, they're sitting together on the color wheel. Monochromatic, so it's the same color but divided in shades, which are the darker tones, or tints, which are the lighter one. And let me show you what I mean. So this is the monochromatic one, the monochromatic color palette, so already gives you a group of color that work well together. Another one that perhaps gives a little bit more on contrast can be a right complement, and I love this complementary too, because it looks like we also have the blues. It kind of represents the photo. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick with this color harmony here, and all you have to do is click on this fantastic icon, and again I'm going to zoom in order to save this harmony directly into my swatches. And you can close this palette if you want, otherwise this panel, sorry, otherwise you can just perhaps minimize it here and keep it on the side, because it's always useful to have more option of color. I'm going to go under window and swatches in order to open my swatch panel, and as you can see, we do have our beautiful color harmony that we selected ready to use. Fantastic. So I'm going to zoom out in order to start to build the document here. I'm going to make this image a little bit bigger by holding shift and also option alt for windows in order to make sure that not only I stretch proportionally, and I also keep it centered. Do you ever use Photoshop to retrieve actual color from an image? Yes, I show that many times when during my stream. If you head on iamclady.com/video, you will find a lot of graphic design streaming, which I'll show you how to use the fantastic captures in the library, which hopefully will come into Illustrator soon as well, but it's a fantastic way to collect color palettes. But I have so much more to show you. So Keith, absolutely, that's a very good way to work. But I'm here to work in Illustrator, so let me show you what are the best practice within the app. And again, the aim of the game is to stay in the same app, staying within the same environment, so we don't lose concentration, we don't have to open and close windows, and we can focus on being creative. Now, another thing that I'm going to do is to click on my rectangle tool and start to build some shapes here. So of course I can go ahead and select colors. Maybe this one here could work. And one thing that I can do perhaps is to overlay some textures. So I'm going to press Command C and then Command F. Again, you can always go under Edit and press Copy and then paste in front in order to do exactly the same. As you know me, you know that I love shortcuts, so that's the way I proceed. And another cool way of creating some movement is to add some textures. So I'm going to go back into my swatches, click on this first icon here in order to introduce some patterns. I'm going to click into the libraries and go under patterns, basic graphics, and in this case textures. And I'm going to show you a very cool trick here. So first of all, you can pick whichever pattern you want. I'm going to select perhaps this one. It looks very busy, and also it looks that is, we cannot even see it. So how do we go about it? I'm going to go with our shape selected. I'm going to head to my transform panel here. If for whatever reason you don't have it, you can find it always under window. And the very cool things that I want to show you is that if we do scale here the image by holding shift, you can see that only the image, the size of the shape changes, but the pattern doesn't change. So we can, and Larissa, by the way, Command F pastes in front. So Command C copy, Command F paste is in front on top of the actual shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and head here at this little menu, click under transform pattern only. So once we have this tick, look what happened. Once I'm gonna select the shape, and perhaps I'm gonna go towards this side, and holding shift, I'm going to make the shape bigger. So not only the size of the rectangle is increasing, but also the size of my pattern. But what happened? I don't really want to have a rectangle that is so big. How do I keep the pattern scaled but only transform the shape? Well, we're going to work on the reverse. We're going to go back here in the transform panel and click on transform object only. In this way, if we modify the shape here, our pattern doesn't squish, doesn't move. The only thing that we're changing is the size of our rectangle. So perhaps you can do a very tiny rectangle and go back and transform pattern only. And we're gonna expand this even more. And then, as you can see, if now I press and move the rectangle, our pattern squishes. So we really wanna go here and click on transform object only so we can keep the same shape and overlay it and just transform the object. I can't believe the time is going so fast. So another thing you want to do is, if you want to change perhaps the color of this pattern, all you have to do is to go under object and click on expand, and then it's going to ask you, should I expand the fill? And you say yes, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and double click in order to isolate this shape, and click on our fantastic magic wand, and then click on this beautiful pattern. As you can see, we can just select the pattern, and then let's go back into our fantastic swatches and select one of the beautiful color that we had into our palette. And let's see. So we created the fantastic pattern, but instead of having the dark black, which it didn't really match what we were doing here, we have matched our palette. Now you can also create more shapes, perhaps just a simple rectangle tool here to create some space for the text. So you'll be able to then go to your type tool and write whatever you need. So for example, this is a Mediterranean food. And I'm gonna go back into my properties and make sure that we bring back the size maybe to 200, or maybe a little bit less. And again, even here you can select the font that you prefer, and Mediterranean, as usual, misspell. And you can always select whatever font you prefer, and also the colors. So you can go back and you can really start to work and using your palette. Something else that you perhaps want to use here is a place for selecting the color palette that makes it look always very professional. So let's say that those are the color of your work, as you can see, as I've done here. Very simple, just click on our rectangle tool, click and drag to create a rectangle tool, and then click again, then click again in order to copy with your Alt or Option selected, and then select them both and click and create a copy on the side, and press Command D to duplicate. In order to use the color palette, then just head back to your swatches and you'll be able to show the different colors that you used in the project. I think this is a very good practice. You can also add the pattern if you wish, and perhaps having the pattern on top of the background as it is, or you can also, and I'm trying to do that in literally 1 second, you can perhaps add exactly this pattern that you created in under this shape. How would you do that? Just simply click these two shapes, press on Command G, and then place it under this little rectangle, and I'm going to zoom in to show. Click and drag to select them both, and click on Command 7 to create a clipping path. In this case, we also have integrated our pattern here. So again, I placed my example here because I know I wouldn't have the time, but as you can see, you can start building with photo, with graphic, with text. You can start build a professional looking organized project. And I'm gonna just use this one, and you can always go back to your artboard and reduce the size of your artboard in height. Remember, the width has to stay the same as the one that I provide for you. But for now, I didn't get what I want in terms of finishing the file, but it doesn't really matter. We can just use this one just as an example. And let's say that this is my final file. Let's press on Option Command E to export. I'm gonna use this as sample one and locate it into my desktop, and choose the destination and export the artboard. Now that we exported the artboard, all I have to do is to go back into my profile here, into my Behance profile, and click on Create Project, and click on Image, and then let's find whatever you will use the image, and click on Open. So we have there already a beautiful image that contains many different assets, our photos, our text, our color palette, and that's ready for you to be uploaded. Now, in order to get your project featured and perhaps selected in our fantastic galleries, make sure that when you continue to build your project, you add the appropriate project tags. For the Illustrator gallery, you will have to add AI Daily Challenge. This is the correct tag that will allow us to discover your work so you can get featured. I hope this was helpful. Always make sure to send me a message if you have any other question. I'm on Discord, and click on publish, of course, at the end in order to see to show your work. I got only 1 minute, so I'm gonna let you do all the details like the title and all of that, but that's how you create a full project that looks nice and is perfect size for Photoshop. For Behance. I've been working too much in Photoshop today. Fantastic. So it's been a pleasure to be with you. I got 30 seconds before leaving today. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at @IamCladi, and also you'll find here my website and so much amazing content. The t-shirt that we created here during Adobe Live, and I'm gonna take the volume off, is still on sale on my website. You'll find the link on the on Instagram, and all the proceed will go to the charity that you'll find all the information here regarding the t-shirt. But thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe here to the daily creative challenges for getting notification for next challenge. It was my pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.